trafficking law, and that was tabled in Parliament. Then I came and testified to the Standing Committee of Parliament on the law, on what we wanted the law to be. And also one of the members from my organization, who was herself trafficked into prostitution when she was 13, came along with me and testified to the members of Parliament in that committee, saying that she wanted the buyers to be punished and the women to be helped to start new lives.
Right. So Ruchira, how did it feel when your film won the Emmy Award? Were you surprised?
You know, I'll tell you, at that time, no, because I didn't know the importance of the Emmy Award. And, you know, I'd already been through the intensity of the process while making the documentary itself, going inside the brothels, etc. So when I saw the film, I felt good that I've been able to convey the story. And the award was just like the icing on the cake in a way. And so at that time I didn't, but the fact that I've been able to leverage the award to achieve more and more for women and children across the world, including the passage of the UN protocol, including the passage of the US law on trafficking, including dubbing it into 6 languages, the documentary, and showing it in Thai, Vietnamese, Bengali, Nepali, and explaining to villagers what can happen when they let their daughters go, has been as big a reward as the Emmy. And after the Emmy, on my work on human trafficking, because I've sort of specialized on human trafficking in the last 10 years, and that's what I'm known for internationally. I sit on different boards. I sit on the board of the Ricky Martin Foundation. I sit on the board of Asia Society. I sit on the board for Vital Voices, which is chaired by Mrs. Hillary Clinton. I sit on the board for Coalition Against Trafficking in Women, Sense for Relief. You know, I sit on various boards. And all these doors are open to me because of the work I've done on human trafficking, and I can leverage each thing that happens to me to bring more focus on this modern day slavery which exists, and that's what I do. Also, what has happened is, in the process, is that I won many more awards. I was given an award last year at the UK House of Lords as a modern day abolitionist, a person who fights against slavery. And this year I was invited to address the United Nations General Assembly, the first NGO to address the UN General Assembly on the issue of human trafficking. And there were 110 countries sitting in front of me listening to what I was saying that I wanted to be done to end slavery and human trafficking in the world. And each moment was important because, again, it could affect the cause that I wanted to affect. And by the time these awards came, I had already transcended the glamour of the award in a way.
Right.
Like, I was honored in the White House.
Activist, yes.
Yeah, I was honored in the White House. And by the time the moment came, of course, it's a great honor, great privilege, and you really enjoy it. But by the time the moment comes, you've already transcended that moment.
Right. Yeah.
So
I believe you've been invited to address the Indian Parliament too in the next session.
I have a letter pending. There's something called the Parliamentary Forum, and they had sent me a letter a couple of months ago, and they're going to set a date, and they want me to come and address Parliamentary Forum on human trafficking.
Well, Ruchira, you have a very hectic schedule. What about your family life? Your parents, your husband, don't they miss you?
They do miss me, I miss them, but our family life is richer because of the work I do, because it makes me a richer person, and I'm more engaged and I'm more happy and satisfied. And so my husband, my parents are also proud, and they participate if they can. If they can't, they support from outside. So you know, if you have a rich life, then you enrich the lives of others around you.
True, but all this work can also be very emotionally draining.
It is emotionally draining, absolutely, because you know, you meet 13-year-old girls who have been raped repeatedly. You meet boys who are forced to become pimps and run away from home. You meet women who are living with AIDS and are going to die in a couple of years, don't know what's going to happen to their children. I've met entire communities, the work that I do, who have been forced to remain in prostitution even when they want to get out, of upper caste gangs who come and rape the women when they say we don't want to be prostitutes anymore. So I have seen the worst of humanity, but what keeps me going is that I've also seen the best of humanity. I've seen people come forward and support these women. I've seen the strength of the girls and the women to grab any chance for a new life and a better life, and still be compassionate for other people. And that keeps me going, the strength of the women, the strength of the girls.
Don't you ever know fear?
Later, in retrospect, always, not in the moment, because at that time I'm so motivated by what I have to do that I can't think about the fear. But the fear happens much later when I think about it, that, oh, I did that, and then I think, how did I go through that?
Well, you know, there are a lot of investigative journalists who've come up ever since you were a journalist, and if you look at the electronic media, every story is a breaking story. In fact, that Aston never goes off the screen. So do you think that they're genuinely serving society, or is it just muckraking to grab the TRPs?
The nature of journalism is in a state of flux in India right now, and I think journalists are experimenting to figure out what their role is in society, in journalism. So younger people are either trying to do sting operations instead of proper investigation. They are trying to get good talking heads, so that they can get a sound bite. But a whole story which will take 18 months to research, where there's true investigation, where you're getting every piece of the story together and then putting it on air. They don't have the patience for that right now. They don't have the budget for that right now, a lot of times. And also, there is no understanding of society. There are literally urban and rural India are very divided now, and there is no reflection of rural India in television or newspapers. At all, absolutely at all, for monetary reasons from the point of view of the owner, for convenience from the point of view of the journalist, and very easy for the viewers because they don't have to think. So this whole notion of thinking and responding to society is just not there right now. And this is what's journalism is not something apart from society. It's very much a part of society.
It reflects society.
Yeah, so the same flux is happening in society right now. There are many Indias which are being created, and agricultural India is not on TV. Rural India is not on TV. If you can't speak English, you're not on TV. If you don't dress in a certain way right now, you're not on TV. So the whole idea about journalism itself has changed. There's an invisible India and there's a visible India. The visible India is the consumer India. The invisible India is the ones who are doing the producing of food, the ones who are doing the, making the clothes, the tailors, the outsourced workers, the migrants, the farmers. They're invisible.
So really a lot of sound and fury and very little content. There's more emphasis on the packaging, how slick or glossy it looks.
Yeah.
Well, it was great having you on this show. We hope to chat with you another time, and I'm sure you'll come back with a lot more experiences and more films that will win awards. Thanks so much, Ruchira.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us in this edition of In Transit, and we will be back next week same time with yet another important guest transiting through the capital. Till then, goodbye.
but it was actually a whole chain of slavery, just like slavery in the 19th century. There was a whole chain which was supplying people into these situations, and little girls who were 9, 10, 11, and their childhood was taken away. They were raped repeatedly. They were locked up in rooms which were 4 feet by 4 feet with iron bars on the window. I've met girls in the brothels of Bombay who've lived there for 3